Literacy is the fundamental skill of education. Strictly speaking, literacy is the ability to call the written words on a page. This is distinct from comprehension or understanding, which is a part of functional literacy, but not necessarily literacy in the strict sense. In the underground history of American education, John Taylor Gatto puts it this way. Reading and understanding are two different things. Good reading is the fluent and effortless cracking of the symbol sound code, which puts understanding within easy reach. Understanding is the translation of that code into meaning. Notice Gatto's statement. While reading itself does not guarantee understanding, reading, calling the words, puts understanding within easy reach. Once a student knows how to read, he can more easily learn on his own. Gatto writes, close reading of tough-minded writing is still the best, cheapest, and quickest method known for learning to think for yourself. Once students know how to read, really know how to read using phonics, they can call any written word off the page. Students may not yet understand the meaning of a word, but they can still read it. This is not the case when students are taught to read using sight words. When students are taught to read whole words by sight, rather than being taught to read phonetically, students spend an extended period of time only able to read text with limited vocabulary. These students become stunted, their intellectual growth limited by the relatively small vocabulary they can read. Marva Collins noted a trend of dumbing down school books and not giving students challenging material to read. This was because students were being taught to read by sight. She wrote, instead of challenging students with materials that might improve their skills, the new books made it easier using more pictures and fewer words, and simpler words. Dumbing down books is not a way to promote reading. The idea is to put reading within reach of those students taught to read using a sight word vocabulary, but in doing this, the text becomes dull. Dull books lead students to dislike reading. Again, John Taylor Gatto. There are many ways to burn books without a match. You can order the reading of childish books to be substituted for serious ones, as we have done. You can simplify the language you allow in school books to the point that students become disgusted with reading because it demeans them, being thinner gruel than their spoken speech. When the vocabulary of books is limited, the content presented is of necessity diluted. Students cannot acquire a deep understanding of topics from such sources. To gain understanding and to maintain interest, students must read meaningful material. However, many teachers don't challenge students with meaningful material. Again, from Marva Collins. Many educators and textbook publishers seem to think that children should not be reading Shakespeare, or, for that matter, any other great works of literature. I think that this idea is dead wrong. Students need to read challenging material. They need to read serious material, and they can move to do that as soon as they can read the words. And by read the words, I mean call the words. When they can say the words, when they come across words they don't know, they can look them up, or they can ask, they can expand their vocabulary, they can get the words in context, they can begin to understand deeper meanings because they can understand more words. Words are meaning. Words are put together into sentences and paragraphs and papers and books to make meaning. And the students need this in order to be able to learn. So if you're a parent, teach your child to read with phonics. If you're a kindergartner or a first grade teacher, teach your students to read with phonics and don't teach them sight words. If you teach older children, teach them with phonics. If you're tutoring a kid who's struggling with reading, teach him phonics. If you're teaching adults that don't know how to read, teach them phonics. In short, if you want someone to really learn to read, teach them phonics. And once a student knows how to read, get him to read meaningful material. Understanding will come. As Gatto said, it's within easy grasp.